Good afternoon and welcome to Cafecito with Rosie on air. I am super excited because this is a project that I have been thinking about for so long, but is now a reality. This show is about inspiring ideas and business owners in the area that can help you achieve a thriving and successful and profitable business. My first guest is a friend of mine. We have been journeying together since January of this year because we are both now published authors. We both wrote our own books, and then Suzette Phillips is going to tell us a little bit about her story, who she is, where does she live, and everything. Hi, Suzette. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. Thank you. Thank you very much for your coming to my show. This is all just girlfriends talking with each other and inspiring each other. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Were you born here in Tampa?
I am. I'm born and raised here in Tampa. I moved away for a little bit because I was married to a Navy man. Mm-hmm. And when he retired, we moved back here so that I could help take care of my mother because she had multiple sclerosis. So, and then we decided to stay. So my family's here, and we love it. We love Florida.
I know a lot of people think Tampa it's the same thing as Miami or Orlando, but what do you think? Do you think that Tampanians we're a little bit different than everybody else?
Oh yes, there's a very big difference between here in Miami or here in Orlando. To me, Tampa seems to be much more spread out. There's a lot of people, but there's a lot of room. And when I visit Miami, I feel like everybody's on top of each other, and the same with Orlando. But of course, I'm biased because I am born and raised here. So.
Yes. What's your favorite place in Tampa? I know everybody has like a little place where we always go back to kind of center ourselves and find our way. If sometimes with business and stuff you're lost. What's one of your favorite places in Tampa?
Well, it's not directly in Tampa. It's in the Tampa Bay area, and it's Honeymoon Island because I love the beach. So being on the beach and listening to the waves and the breeze always centers me quite a bit.
Good. Now, you have a consulting business, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, my business is called Mind Your Business Consultants, LLC, and I worked for another company for about 14 years, and the last 7 years of it, I was chief of operations. And after a little bit after 14 years, I just decided, it's time to venture out on my own and to do something different. And although it's not very different because I did the same thing as chief of operations, but is being a consultant for the smaller business. And the business that I worked for was a swim school, so I do specialize in swim schools. I speak what they call swim school language, but I can help any business because I am one of these people that I sit back, I watch, I take notes, and I don't jump to conclusions. I like to look at everything for the business owner and then sit down with a detailed report and go over everything with them, of course, after I find out what it is that they feel that they're struggling with or they want to make better.
Right. Awesome. So you bring them solutions, to find their way and be successful.
Correct.
Yes, that's awesome. So this is kind of interesting. So the one thing that is different from everybody else is that you actually your specialty is on the swimming schools. Is that what you were telling me?
Yes, I do. I specialize in swim schools.
Wow, here in Tampa, that's probably one of the things that after COVID is probably going to be on demand. What do you think about that?
It is very much still on the demand. I find that some of our schools that are closed in are struggling just a little bit, but all the outdoor schools seem to be rising, and busy because people are so scared of COVID. Although honestly, it's safe either way because COVID can't, from what I've heard from reports, it doesn't do well with chlorine. So a chlorinated pool does very well. So, and all of the instructors wear facial masks in the pools with their children and whatnot. So they're taking all the precautions that the CDC has put out for them. But what people need to not run from is the swim lessons because it's in such high demand. You need those swim lessons, especially around the Tampa Bay area or many places that have all of the water, because even 2 inches of water can be very dangerous for a child. So, it's just they need to not run from it and hide, which some people do. They need to just, okay, let me get my child back into swim school and get them learning.
Right. And then, we are the perfect example for our children, right? They're looking up to us, even though sometimes we don't think they are, but they are. Well, thank you for that introduction. So one of the things that I talk to people about my show is I want to bring ideas to the table. For example, about struggling and how you overcame that struggling in business or in your life, for example. So was there something in particular that you struggle with as a business owner and how you overcame that, or are you still kind of figuring out how to overcome that struggle?
I'm actually, honestly, to tell you, still trying to overcome the struggle because I'm what you call a luxury in many people's eyes. Because they need to spend their money on what's going to keep their business going. And what they don't realize is that having a consultant will actually help their business flourish and soar like it should. But they consider me a luxury, so they'll just say, well, we have to wait on doing that. So I'm still struggling some, but I'm here and I still chat with people and they think, oh my gosh, I really need to start saving money to see about getting you here. And I say, of course, it's not a problem. So it's just still a struggle, but I'm thinking that I'm getting ready to bypass that. So, but I have faith. It's all going to work out.
Go, awesome. And that's what the name of my book, and we're going to talk about your book in a minute, but then the book Ñeque, it's all about. Ñeque is that inner strength that just continue to keep you going because you have find your purpose. And by finding your purpose, you will persevere, and then you will pivot. And those are the 4 components of Ñeque. But finding your purpose is what will get you for the long run, because being a business owner is going to take some time. But if you get your right message and the right people, you will get in front of your correct customer, the one that will be paying, the paying customer, usually the ones that they know you, like you, trust you, and they will do business with you. So it might take you a little bit of time, but you will get there. Just continue to stay focused, and then keep your Ñeque within you, that only you can provide those services. And I know we'll be launching our book soon. Well, actually, yes, I believe it's on the 19th of November of this month. Tell me a little bit about your book. What is it all about, and what's the name of it?
The name of my book is Get Out of the Corporate Cave, Leadership for the Real World. And it's about people seeing things for what they really are. It's hard when you go into a corporate surroundings or any business or a family-owned business, whatnot, because you're there and it's telling you that, okay, I want you to do this and this and this and this, and you're like, well, why? And they're like, just do it. We've always done it that way. So you're seeing things like a shadow on the wall in a cave where it's it looks like it's being done for one thing, but it's really being done for another thing. So with my book, I give them real life quandaries and situations with different kind of solutions to deal with them. So I'm opening people's eyes to what they're really seeing and not just what's being told to them. And that's what I feel we all should do.
Awesome. So what is your favorite story of your book? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, there's so many stories in my book, but let's see here. One of the stories is about walking into, let's say a lot of people want to be spoken to in a certain situation. Mm-hmm. So if something is being done wrong, you would hope that whoever your leader is would say, hey, Suzette, can you come in here and talk to me for a minute? In that kind of situation. And you go in there and your leader will sit there and they'll describe, hey, this is what's going on. You're doing great with this, but we still need you to work on that, and that kind of thing. But too many times I've seen where you're in the middle of the office and somebody, a manager, because there's a huge difference between managers and leaders, but the manager will go, Suzette, you did this wrong. Why did you do it? You need to get it fixed. And will yell at them. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I offered, it's like, so what do you think was wrong with these two? What was right and what was wrong with these two conversations? Well, the one that was wrong was done by a manager. That's when I would put out there about how it should have been done is that the leader comes out and calls mm-hmm. you into the office and doesn't embarrass you in front of your team members mm-hmm. or your teammates, and they do it that way. So it's a lot of those types of situations, and you learn how to handle it, because if somebody started speaking to me in that manner, I would say, excuse me, but can we please talk about this in your office? Mm-hmm. And that's when, you go in there. But it all depends on what type of leadership you have. Do you have a leader or do you have a manager? The mm-hmm. two are completely different.
Yeah, and I do believe, that is something that I've experienced myself. And that is what I call myself an inspirator instead of not even a manager, a leader. I really understood that I was not a good manager. I was more of a leader. But as a leader, I want to inspire right. people to be the best. And I think a lot of the corporate jobs are changing, where they're investing in their human capital, so this human capital can be better leaders, and this will bring asset to society instead of being managers. Because managers sometimes is just about, not really inspiring. It's just more about, we got to meet these metrics and we have to do this and these are the numbers. And like you said, but the reality is you will get more out of people by inspiring to be the best that they can be. Also, one of the things that I actually talk in my book a lot too is to be able to recognize people in their style. Because like if I have an introvert and I put him in front of the room to praise him over the great job, that person is probably going to be very embarrassed because they don't like that. Right. So as a leader, one of the things is to learn about the personality of the team that I'm leading. Do you have any experience or maybe any suggestion on that part of how to recognize people?
Well, that's that's a part of my book as well, is that you have to be able to notice